2 women, 1 target, and a countdown that is ticking louder by the day. What is happening right now on the WTA Tour is the kind of storyline that keeps tennis fans glued to their screens at midnight, obsessively refreshing the rankings page. This is not a head-to-head rivalry played out across a single net. It is something rarer and honestly more dramatic than that. A proxy war, staged across continents, fought on the slow red clay of Europe, where every win and every loss sends. Ripples through a global leaderboard that will ultimately decide both of their fates at Roland Garros. We are talking about Alexandra Eala, the explosive young talent from the Philippines who has been quietly dismantling expectations all season long, and Emma Raducanu, the Grand Slam champion from Great Britain, whose name alone still carries the weight of one of tennis's most stunning upsets. Their shared obsession right now? Cracking the top 32 before the French Open seeding cutoff slams. Shut. Now, before we go any further, let's get one thing straight. The question of whether either of these athletes will be in the main draw at Roland Garros is no longer the conversation. That ship has sailed. Eala's recent run has already punched her ticket to Paris. The fight that matters right now, the one that is genuinely keeping both camps up at night, is the seeding race. Because here is the brutal reality of Grand Slam tennis. Your ranking number does not just tell you where you stand. It tells you whether you get protected. Land inside the top 32, and the draw wraps its arms around you. You will not see another seeded player until the 3rd round at the absolute earliest. You get 2 matches to find your legs, shake off the nerves, and grow into the tournament. That buffer is not a luxury. At this level, it is everything. Fall. Outside it, even by a single spot, and the gloves come off immediately. The draw becomes a lottery. Your first-round opponent could be a top 10 player. You could walk onto Philippe Chatrier for match 1 and find yourself staring across the net at the world number 1. No runway, no grace period. Just survive or go home. With the ranking cutoff for Roland Garros rapidly approaching, the question of who lands where has become one of the most electric conversations in tennis. What makes this story so compelling is the sheer contrast in circumstances between the 2 players chasing the same goal. Alexandra Eala is on a wave right now. She is competing week after week, accumulating points, logging match time, and building the kind of rhythm that clay court tennis rewards above almost anything else. She is not waiting for the right moment. She is creating it, tournament by tournament, point by painful point. Everything about her trajectory right now reads as forward momentum. Emma Raducanu's path looks completely different. Talent, undeniable and proven at the highest level. But between the injuries, the recovery periods, and the jarring gaps in competitive match play, she is being asked to do something genuinely brutal. Perform at the elite level without the fuel that elite performance runs on. Match sharpness, live reps, the kind of competitive edge that simply cannot be manufactured in a practice session no matter how gifted you are, and the WTA ranking system does not hand out points for potential. It is a cold mathematical ledger that cares only about what you did and when you did it over a rolling 12-month window. It rewards consistency with the same relentless logic it uses to punish absence. Layered over all of this is the surface itself, and clay has an agenda of its own. Red clay is not just slow. It is demanding in a way that filters out players who are not completely connected to their game. The ball sits up, the points stretch long, and if your footwork is even slightly off, if your timing is a fraction behind, the court exposes you. You cannot overpower clay into submission. You have to earn it shot by shot, rally by rally, building pressure and tolerating discomfort in ways that do not always come naturally to players whose best tennis lives on faster surfaces. For Eala, clay is comfortable territory. Her game is built on the kind of baseline patience and physical endurance that clay demands as a baseline requirement. She can grind through 15-shot rallies without flinching. She understands the geometry of the sliding forehand, the angles, You build from deep, the patience you need before you finally pull the trigger. Raducanu's strengths are real, but they point in a different direction. She is electrifying on hard courts and grass, where flat hitting and fast instincts pay off immediately. On clay, the instinct to shorten points and go for winners early can become a liability if it is not recalibrated on the fly. Adjusting that, tactical identity in the middle of a tournament you desperately need to run deep in. That is not a small ask. That is one of the hardest things in professional tennis, which brings us to the tournament where everything converges. The Italian Open in Rome. Rome is not just another stop on the calendar. It is the last major points opportunity before the Roland Garros cutoff, which means it functions as the final verdict in this seeding race. Whatever happens on the Roman clay will echo all the way through Paris, and for both players, the mandate could not be clearer. Eala needs a deep run, not a first-round win, not a second-round exit on a tough draw. She needs to be there in the second week, grinding through the upper tier of the WTA, banking the kind of heavy points that only come from a WTA 1000 quarterfinal or beyond. She has the tools, and she has the momentum. The question is whether she can convert both into results when the pressure peaks. For Raducanu, everything hinges on one thing: timing, not strategy, not physical fitness on paper. The real question is whether her match sharpness will arrive at exactly the moment the first ball is tossed in Rome. If it does, if she can reach back into the vault of a US Open champion and pull out the competitive fearlessness that once made the whole world stop, then this race becomes genuinely wide open. But if she needs even 1 or 2 matches to find her rhythm and those matches end in losses, the seeding window may close before she can reach it. When you strip this whole picture down to its essentials, this battle is being decided on 3 invisible fronts: form, surface, and pressure. On form, Eala holds the edge clearly. Her recent trajectory has the clean shape of a player building toward something, not a player searching for something. Every tournament she enters adds another layer of competitive confidence. She knows exactly how her body feels in a 2-hour clay court battle because she has been living them. On surface, Eala again has the structural advantage. Clay suits her game architecture in ways it simply does not suit Raducanu's. That does not mean Raducanu cannot win on clay, she obviously can, but the surface demands she play a slightly different game than the one that comes most naturally. That adaptation takes energy, time, and reps she has not had. On pressure, this is where the story gets genuinely open. Raducanu has been in the cauldron before in a way very few players alive have been. She won the US Open as a qualifier. She has played in front of 40,000 screaming fans with a grand slam on the line, and she kept her nerve. That mental architecture does not simply vanish. It lives in the body and in the muscle memory even when match play has been scarce. The challenge is rebuilding the competitive edge around it, sharpening the sword after months in the scabbard. That is a real and meaningful challenge, but it is not impossible, not for a champion. Step back from the rankings math for a second and think about what is actually at stake on either side of this battle. If Alexandra Eala lands inside the top 32 and walks into Roland Garros as a seeded player, this is not just a personal milestone. It is a seismic moment for Philippine tennis. It plants a flag on the world's biggest clay court stage and says, "The Philippines belongs here." It tells a generation of young athletes watching from the other side of the world that the ceiling they thought existed is not a ceiling at all. That is not a small thing. That is the kind of moment sports history remembers. And if Emma Raducanu defies the odds, fights through the rust, finds her game on Roman clay, and secures her seeding, that would be one of the great comeback narratives of the season. It would prove, loudly and publicly, that elite talent combined with genuine competitive grit can still outrun the cold logic of a ranking spreadsheet. That is the beauty and the terror of this moment. Neither story is written yet. Rome will write it, one match at a time, one sliding forehand at a time, one pressure point at a time. Every practice session matters. Every first serve percentage. Every moment where one of these players has to reach down and find something extra when their body is tired and the match is on the line. Because the rankings board does not care about what you are capable of. It only cares about what you actually do. And Rome is where doing counts. Thank you for diving into this one with me. Watch Rome closely. Watch every result, every scoreline, every shift in momentum. Because by the time the last ball lands in Italy, we will know who walks into Roland Garros with the protection of a seed and who walks in vulnerable, relying on nothing but talent and nerve. Stay locked in. This chapter is just getting started. It's just getting started.